What's going on, guys? We are live, JumpBoost Sports, powered by Fanatics, Player One Coffee, and RAZE Energy. My name is Tommy. Welcome to JumpBoost Sports. Alongside me, we have Eric, Rob, and Pat G as we're talking the latest news in sports, the latest rumors, the latest news coming your way, the things you want to hear, the things you want to know about. Guys, how are you doing on this Sunday morning? Episode 2, guys. Episode 2.
I'm doing well. I just wanted to be known. Last week, I called both the Royal Rumble winners as my straight picks. They were my only picks. So I'm 2 for 2, and I'm looking forward to hopefully being 3 for 3 in my predictions.
Hey, anything can happen. Anything can happen. What is going on, Josh? How you doing? So, boys, we have a lot of news to cover. We have... First and foremost, does anybody else have anything to say? You're not going to introduce yourself? Rob, you looking a little camera shy there.
I'm good, man. What's going on? I thought Pat was going to go first. I'm new this week. I'm filling in for Danny, so I thought I was going to be last. So,
no, I usually with you jumping in this week instead of Daniel. I figure I'd let you get that shine on.
Oh, then let me. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Rob, Real Deal Castillo. I'm excited. I didn't get my Royal Rumble picks in last week. They both got eliminated thanks to Braun Strowman.
Who do you think's gonna win?
Oh my God, Sheamus should have won. But now they're going in that swerve anyway. Stupid.
Told you.
Oh my God. Waste the opportunity. Excited. Super Bowl day, baby.
It is indeed Super Sunday. How about you, Pat? How you feeling, bud?
I'm good. I'm been busy with a lot of things.
I felt
a lot of sports going on, work, school, and creating content for everything.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with being busy. Let's get right into it, guys. NFL Honors was last night. I got a list of award winners here. So let's start off with Alex Smith winning Comeback Player of the Year. Well-deserved. Honestly, they should just rename the award after him.
Absolutely.
The fact that it wasn't unanimous.
That blows my mind. There is nobody else that I would have rather...
One single person out of everybody voted for Ben Roethlisberger for Comeback Player of the Year.
And I still don't understand how.
One person.
Yeah.
I want to find that one person and put him through the Alex Smith treatment.
We're
gonna break your leg. We're gonna put you through everything he went through, and then we're gonna see if you get comeback voter of the year. Because chances are you're not going
comeback voter of the year.
Eric is starting off the podcast spicy. So we have Derrick Henry winning Offensive Player of the Year once again.
That was
honestly, you can't deny that.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So with the Offensive Player of the Year award, there's a lot of people that believe that that's basically has become the de facto actual MVP award for non-quarterbacks. If you're not a quarterback, you have a chance at at the Offensive Player of the Year award. If you're a quarterback, you're automatically MVP. So it's like there's a lot of people out there that are like, yo, just rename the MVP award the quarterback award.
Of the year, yeah.
Quarterback of the year, and then let the Offensive Player of the Year award be like that, and then create a actual MVP for everybody that's non-quarterbacks.
I agree with that. So then moving on, we have Aaron Donald of the Los Angeles Rams winning Defensive Player of the Year. Honestly,
rightfully deserved.
Hold on. Will, if you're gonna say what I think you're gonna say, I have something for that later on.
Okay. I am going to hold my time.
You're already a little spicy. Drink some water.
I'm gonna hold my time and I'll pass it on to the next person.
We have Chase Young winning Defensive Rookie of the Year from the Washington Football Team. Justin Herbert from the Los Angeles Chargers winning both Offensive Rookie of the Year as well as Pepsi Next Rookie of the Year. What, Rob?
So if Burrow doesn't get hurt, Burrow is your Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I agree. I 1,000% agree with that.
Don't get me wrong. Herbert played out of his mind. The Chargers only lost 5 games within 3 points, and it was all down to the last possession. You put the rookie in that position, that's the result. Come back sophomore year, that's going to be a dangerous football team.
I agree.
Did you hear the story about his first game?
No.
He thought it was a rib that they were putting him in. So he didn't stretch, he didn't warm up or anything, and they get to kick off, and he's like, "All right, offense, let's go." He's on the sideline, let's go, and they're like, "Kid, you're going in," and he's like,
"Huh?" Was that after Tyrod had his lung puncture?
Yep.
Yeah.
Damn.
He's like, "Come on, kid, let's go, offense, let's go," and they're like,
"You coming with us?"
All right, so moving on, we have Brian DeBall of the Bills winning Assistant Coach of the Year. Honestly, not too shocked.
Not shocked.
What does shock me, and I'm saying this as a Browns fan, Kevin Stefanski winning NFL Coach of the Year.
I'm not shocked at all. I'm not shocked at all.
I'm a little shocked, and I'll tell you why. You look at the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would have thought Andy Reid was a lock for that.
But Andy Reid has done it year after year after year.
Yep.
I understand that, but I think again, I'm a Browns fan. I don't want to, be leader of the bandwagon here, but I don't know if Stefanski. I can't say deserves, but I don't think he wins.
So,
in my opinion.
Go ahead, Eric.
I was going to say, I think he did enough divisionally to earn him that label. I mean, that big win on the Steelers late in the season really kind of helped, I would say, push the ballot for him.
Okay.
Especially when you're going in against a division rival like that. That's something where it really is the gameplay planning up until the day of the game. And as long as your team can execute the game plan that you put forth as a coach, as the assistant's coach, offense, defensive coaches, all those coaches, it's that game plan that they put into effect. And so for somebody to go out there and, have the gameplay to be executed to beat a division rival that notoriously mops the floor with you.
Yeah.
And not only that, though, but in such a clutch situation where the Browns needed that win, I really think he deserved it and he earned it. And then the push to the playoffs for them as well. I mean, you got to think, in the past decade, this was a team that was 0-16 at one point. So I think that just kind of strengthens the push on the ballot there for him.
I will definitely give that.
And I agree with
Eric. Thank you for the tier 1 sub. Brandon goes 1-15 to 11-5 with the same team, just different coach. First playoff win in over 20 years. Touching on what you said, Eric. Like I said, it's not so much that I disagree with it. It was just honestly improbable when you look at all the great teams, this year alone. Whether it be Sean McDermott of the Buffalo Bills, whether it be Andy Reid of the Kansas City Chiefs,
Which second place for him?
Yes.
Yeah, and Brian Flores finishing third from the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah.
Well, and here's the thing, and I'll touch on this quickly. It's Andy Reid and the Kansas City Chiefs. You're defending Super Bowl champions. They've been here. You've seen them do this already. Andy Reid's top tier. So for Stefanski to come in,
back when he was the head coach of Philadelphia.
Yeah, exactly. So with his system, even when Alex Smith was playing with Kansas City, you knew Andy Reid could do. And that's lead a team, build a team around with his staff, his recruiting. They got Pat Mahomes. It's one of the top offenses in the league. We'll touch on that in a little bit. But to take this Cleveland Browns team and do what you did this year to an AFC Championship game, it stands above your Andy Reids, your Flores, McDermott. I think it's rightfully deserved, and I hope for continued success coming up next season.
Absolutely. And then rounding off the awards, Aaron Rodgers wins his third MVP award. Like Pat said, it is honestly the award for quarterbacks. Honestly, we had a lot of top contenders, whether it be Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. What are you guys' thoughts?
So I know looking at the voting, Josh Allen was second place, but he was a very, very distant second place. So Bills fans rejoice. You have an MVP caliber quarterback. You have a playoff quarterback. You have I've been saying it since he got drafted, a potential Super Bowl quarterback. But, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He's going to go out there. He's going to throw the deep ball on a dime. He's going to get those teams into situations where they can win. But, I think the bottom line is, Bills fans rejoice. You guys are in the hunt. You got potential coach of the year, potential MVP, and you got a playoff team. So, Bills fans, to my dismay, congratulations. You guys had a great year. But Aaron Rodgers definitely deserved the award.
All right. Anybody else thoughts?
My thoughts was I see the Josh Allen case. I do agree. You guys got the MVP quarterback now. The future, for the Browns, the Bills, the future looks very bright for you guys. But we're missing somebody. Someone that took a 4-12 Buccaneers team, now leading them to the Super Bowl. I'm talking about that man, Tom Brady.
TB12.
The GOAT.
I don't think he had an MVP year. I
agree.
He had an MVP year.
No,
I think he had a great year.
I feel I think with having the stats to go along with rebuilding what that team was. I feel it could have been.
Like I said last week too, the Bucs started off rough this season. They started off really rough this season. And now, tonight they're playing in the Super Bowl, 6:30 p.m. CBS. It's wild to me to think that it's just Tom Brady. It's just basic Brady at this point.
Yeah, and I mean the one thing I do want to say about Tom Brady too is that his completion percentage was up 5.7% from last year. In 610 attempts, he made 401 completions. So, I mean, he did step up his game. He lost one less game than he did with New England last year, and he threw for 133 roundabout more yards. So he did have a good year. 40 touchdowns this year as opposed to his 24 last year. More interceptions, so a higher interception percentage, with the long ball being 50 yards.
Do you think though, because with how our preseason has been and him not being able to gel with the receivers, there were more interceptions, more miscommunications. Did it plague it?
No, I think that Tom Brady is just Tom Brady. He notoriously plays bad in the first 4 to 6 games of the season, and then he comes out, lights out, and is a playoff quarterback after the bye week. That's how Tom Brady has always been. He's always a late season playoff quarterback. And it's kind of like the snowball effect. Yeah, it's slow to start, but once you push that snowball and you create that avalanche, they're coming through and they're boiling over anybody that's in the way. And that's been New England's 20 years. That's been Tampa Bay's last year. You get and Tom Brady's notorious for taking wide receivers who are absolute no-name players. I said it last week. Mike Evans didn't even know that there was a celebration at the end of the championship game.
I'm new to this.
No, you got to go down there. You have to go down there. There's a celebration. What? I'm new to that. I don't know. He's notorious for taking no-name wide receivers and making them household names. Now, Mike Evans is probably going to be a big-name contract wide receiver in the next 3 years because of it. Rob Gronkowski, hate to say it, the guy in his entire career, whenever he's been on the field, hasn't missed the playoffs. So that's another thing that you have to have an effect. And then you bring in guys like Antonio Brown, somebody who gelled with Tom Brady in New England, was subsequently released because of his attitude and, off-field antics. But the bottom line is that this is somebody that gels with Tom Brady already. Rob Gronkowski is somebody who gels with Tom Brady already. Once you get the backfield set, you get the wide receiver core set. After week 4 or 5, Tom Brady is going to just take absolute control. And once they gave him control of the offense as well and said, TB12, you do your thing, Mr. Future Hall of Famer, you go out there and you push, it was all over from there.
And I think having Byron Leftwich as your offensive coordinator, that's a great pairing for him and Tom Brady. I think it put Arians in a great spot for the success and Royals, like it's gonna be it's magic.
Absolutely.
So,
I agree. So Josh says in the chat, rough start hurt Tampa Bay this season. Definitely agree with that. K Swish says TB isn't in MVP talks. Valid point though, Rob. So speaking of valid points, this brings me on to going back. The defensive player of the year, JJ Watt, defending his brother, TJ Watt.
Yep.
Basically says this. I'm going to pop it up on the stream. But he says, and I quote, Aaron Donald is an absolutely incredible player. I love watching him play, and he's headed to the Hall of Fame without question. That has nothing to do with AD personally. This is me saying what my brother won't. TJ played one less game and still led the NFL in every major category. The only category TJ Watt did not lead the league in was forced fumbles, which Aaron Donald had 2 more than him. TJ Watt had 2, Aaron Donald had 4. Guys, thoughts on TJ Watt, thoughts on JJ Watt's comments? Go.
I think that honestly, JJ coming out and defending his brother, great. I think that, I understand where he's coming from, but defensive player of the year, offensive player of the year isn't just about stats. It's how you carry your position on the offense or the defense. And I feel that although he was good, TJ Watt, he arguably had one of the better seasons out of anybody in the league. But it really comes down to how you carry yourself on the field and how you impact your defense. Now, a guy like number 99, you know where he is at all times on that field. When your offense is out there, you're looking for 99. And so I think at the end of the day, like, that's really the thing to keep in mind. Do I think that TJ Watt's going to have a breakout year again next year? Yeah, I think he's going to have a huge year next year. And if the rumor mill is true and JJ Watt ends up in Pittsburgh and we get the Watt brothers just running roughshod all over the league, like, it's going to be insane.
I was honestly saying that exact same thing week 8, in all honesty. I was like, JJ, there's no way he stays in Houston. There's no way he stays in Houston after the awful season they had. I can honestly see him playing with his brothers. Like, it makes the most sense to me.
Yeah.
So here's my thing, man. And this is coming from the football coach in me. When it comes to defense, you can't compare a defensive tackle to an outside linebacker.
Correct.
Okay. Why Aaron Donald won this award, Defensive Player of the Year? I get the stats. I do. TJ Watt, outside linebacker. It's easier if you have a defensive end on that tackle, you have an easier access point to get to the quarterback as an outside linebacker. You are a defensive tackle. Aaron Donald is the best defensive tackle to play this game.
Yes.
I agree.
He is double covered. He is triple covered. Even if he's triple covered, he gets through that. He has a fullback or a running back chipping at his knees almost every play. And he still produces against 2 300-pound men, 3 300-pound men to get to your quarterback and make plays.
There's literally a truck in his way every play.
Correct. And this is what blows my mind. And is people, like, I get it. You're a Steelers fan and you want to argue this and this and this. This has nothing to do with being a team fan. This is about seeing football for what it is. Aaron Donald does his job every play. That man came out with an injury. So TJ Watt played one less game. Aaron Donald played one less half. And even then, Aaron Donald isn't in on second downs. They've said it in the meetings for the games when they're talking about game planning. He isn't in on second down because usually you're passing. Even if you do, they have I can't even remember his backup's name because he's rarely in the game. It's only on second downs. But it's when he gets his breathers.
Yeah.
So for him to come in and produce the numbers that he's doing as a defensive tackle, and this is a true nose tackle, that's why he won Defensive Player of the Year.
Absolutely.
This takes nothing away from TJ Watt at all. TJ Watt is a phenomenal football player. Good on JJ for, speaking up on his brother, because we know TJ Watt's not going to talk about himself. He's humbled.
Yeah.
But it's like, you can't compare Aaron Donald to Myles Garrett, DeMarcus Ware. You can compare him to Albert Haynesworth, Warren Sapp, or Vince Wilfork. But outside linebacker to a defensive tackle, it's a completely different argument. You're not going to win a defensive tackle that is doing a 3-4 defensive tackle's job and producing those numbers of a starting all-pro outside linebacker or a defensive end. He's doing his job. He deserved the defensive player of the year, and he got the job done. That's the end of the argument for that, in my opinion.
I agree.
Brenda says in the chat, AD is overrated. It's just his name, to be honest. Honestly, if Garrett, I assume Myles Garrett he's talking about, stays healthy, he'll be in the running next year.
This is the thing, is do the names kind of come into play? Yes, they do, okay? Because in the NFL, you don't have a lot more superstars than you do in other sports. Like in the NBA, there's tons of superstars all over the place. In the NFL, there's really only a handful of actual true superstars.
The ones you would call elite, if you will.
Yeah, exactly. Aaron Donald is one of those names. So yes, does his name get a added benefit in voting? Guaranteed, absolutely. Same thing as Aaron Rodgers. But the thing is looking at the two players is one of the main reasons why TJ Watt had the season that he did is because of the dominant play of the Pittsburgh Steelers defensive line. If TJ Watt doesn't have those two defensive ends and that defensive tackle on that line creating that space, TJ Watt doesn't get them sacks. TJ Watt doesn't get the interceptions. He doesn't get the forced fumbles. Where Aaron Donald, while he comes out on second down, because second down generally is a passing down, Aaron Donald's playing defensive tackle. He's getting pushed out to the end to play defensive end. He's going up against the best offensive lineman week in, week out, where TJ Watt has 3 to 4 players in front of him. Not to mention he's also playing with a very good linebacking core that in that Mike Tomlin defense is constantly blitzing. So if TJ Watt's not getting there, Bud Dupree's getting there. One of the defensive linemen for the Pittsburgh Steelers getting there. Yes, the Los Angeles Rams had the number 1 overall defense on the year. But the thing is if you take Aaron Donald off that defensive line, that Rams defense is completely different. You do not have that impact player on that defensive line to allow the rest of that defense surrounding him to play that way that they do.
Yeah, because honestly, at that point, all you have is your defensive, not your defensive, your backs, like the Jalen Ramseys. Like, that's really all you got besides that. JMaster619 says AD throws people around to get to the quarterback. It's incredible watching him play. I 1,000% agree. So now moving on to the rest of honors, the 2021 Pro Football Hall of Fame inductees were announced. We have Alan Faneca, Tom Flores, Calvin Johnson, John Lynch, Peyton Manning, Bill Nunn, Drew Pearson, and Charles Woodson making it in, with Calvin Johnson and Peyton Manning being first ballot inductees. Guys, thoughts?
No, I want you guys, I want everybody in the chat, I want everybody who's in the video right now, grab your sheets, grab your pillows, because we're about to put an argument to rest. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. Why do I say that? Because the argument between who's greater between Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. Who's got the better stats? Who's the better quarterback? Who's the better team player? Who's the better team leader?
I mean, Brady's also played like 17 more years than Peyton Manning at this point.
No, they both went into the league at the same time, though. Round about the same time, they both came into the league. So you think about it this way. Peyton Manning is a first ballot Hall of Famer today. And today, Tom Brady is playing in his 10th Super Bowl, going for his 7th Super Bowl victory potentially. The argument is null and void. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback that the NFL has ever seen, and today is proving it. Yes, Peyton Manning is a great quarterback. He's a generational quarterback, being a second-generation quarterback himself. He is one of a kind. He is a franchise quarterback that made the Colts amazing. Without them, they did suffer. Without Peyton Manning, they did hurt. Yes, they had Andrew Luck. They had Jacoby Brissett afterwards. Phillip Rivers, another Hall of Fame quarterback in my eyes. But the bottom line is Tom Brady is arguably inarguably now. It's not an argument. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time in the NFL. His Super Bowls show it, his stats show it, and his longevity shows it. Yes, he's been hurt. Yes, he's had scandals. The scandals have been disproven. The scandals have been thrown out. He's gone through the ringer. Everything you name, he's had thrown at him. Super Bowl jerseys stolen, documentaries about him. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. One of the biggest faces the NFL has ever seen. The fact that he's moving on to movies now, like Ted 2 and all that, being in Netflix exclusive television shows, the guy is the greatest of all time, and nobody can argue it. Like I said, Peyton Manning, congratulations on your first ballot Hall of Fame. You deserve it with that big Easter Island head of yours. When I walk down into Canton and I see your head, I expect it to yell at me, "Dum dum one gum gum." Okay. Peyton Manning, congratulations. The only thing bigger than your career was your forehead. It's a $40 cab ride from your eyebrows to your hairline. That's all I got.
In the chat, K-Swish says, Peyton will always be my favorite, even though the argument of the best has been over even before this season. Brandon says, there is no argument that TB12 will forever be one of, if not the best quarterback of all time, whether you like him or not. Crazy Shadow 2424 says, as much as I hate Tom Brady, he's speaking facts.
Thank you.
With the honors out of the way, unless you guys had anything else to add, I'd like to move on to Watson Watch. Tommy, we can barely hear you. What you mean? That's not good.
The only thing I'm going to say about the Hall of Fame is you're now that it's 2021, you're now getting into there's complaints and of people of like the voters and everything and whatnot, because if you look at all the years before and everything and the way the voting was done and whatnot, is you have players that honestly deserve to get into the Hall of Fame but have not gotten the votes or whatever. But now you're getting into, as we're into the 2020s and everything, you're now getting into classes that are going to feature a lot more players from the modern era of football, the era that we've grown up in.
Absolutely.
From the 80s, from the 80s and 90s and even the early 2000s.
Speak for yourself, old man Pat. A lot of us weren't here for the 80s.
I mean,
okay.
You were like, to be fair. I was conceived immaculately in 80.
I was born in the greatest generation, right at the tail end of it, 1989, slide right in under the radar. But no, Pat, you're right. I think that the classes being as low as they are in the upcoming years is great, but you've got to think baseball as well. There are plenty of people. I mean, this year they didn't even have a class that's voted in.
Yeah,
which was a travesty. We talked about that last week. It was an absolute travesty. Whether or not like you personally like anybody that was eligible to be inducted, I think Major League Baseball's voting for the Hall of Fame is absolutely just ridiculous.
It's archaic.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it's very archaic. But the thing is, with football, you're going to have these loaded classes upcoming in the next years. But the thing is you also can't forget that there are players that played in them early 90s, mid 90s, and runs that may have not had the star power or whatever, but they added they added something to the game. They changed the position. They influence how a certain aspect of the game is played. I know a lot of people. I know a lot of people in Buffalo have been clamoring for Steve Tasker. There's players elsewhere, like for kickers and punters and everything, that haven't been inducted. It's like every year you're seeing these quarterbacks and wide receivers and running backs and defensive linemen, offensive linemen, and everything. But you have these players that let influences to change the way in other aspects of the game, not getting even close. And now, and unlike baseball, where baseball is very similar, where the NFL, you have a certain time limit or whatever to get voted in. You're going to see a lot of them older players that were in the early 90s to mid 90s that may not have the star power start to get phased out because they retired in 2006, 2007, 2008, even now, even in them late 2000s, early 2010s. Now you're going to start seeing them players start to phase out and be part of like the other class, like they're Hall of Fame, not the Hall of Fame class, but the Legends class, or so to speak.
So to touch on that, the difference between the NFL's voting and Major League Baseball's voting is you legitimately just have your ballot of eligibility in Major League Baseball. For the NFL, even if you're past your ballot voting, you can still be voted in by somebody just saying, "Hey, I want this guy in," and then they'll take a look at it. Like that's the real difference.
So here's my question now, and this touch on something Pat said. When you look at people who changed the game, like Michael Vick, do we see somebody? Because arguably before Michael Vick, everybody was a pocket quarterback.
Absolutely, Michael Vick absolutely changed the game. He gave way to the Lamar Jacksons that we have currently.
Patrick Mahomes, I'd say even Phillip Rivers
even Russell Wilson.
Phillip Rivers paved the way for a play type like Patrick Mahomes with the no-look passes, and a lot of people don't give him credit for that. Phillip Rivers was doing no-look passes before Patrick Mahomes. It's just Patrick Mahomes
does it better and has a ring to show for it.
Yeah, and so I got to ask, do you see guys like Mike Vick getting voted into the Hall of Fame, even though he's
asking about that, I think the whole dogfighting incident keeps him out of the Hall of Fame, similar to Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens in Major League Baseball. It's just too much controversy-wise for, I believe, the voters to allow that in.
I agree.
Regardless of the stats.
That's what I wanted to get at as well. You look at guys like Curt Schilling, who were the easiest way to explain it.
Yeah.
Curt Schilling, great player. Bloody sock game. Like, he's got the historical moments. He's got the stats behind him. He's got the World Series victories. It's 2 weeks in a row.
You're just trying to hurt me out here.
You throwing him in there. Little jabs whenever I can get him in. But, he's a guy whose outside acumen as a person really deteriorates that. Also, did you hear about the NFL voting scandal this year?
I did not. Touch on that.
Oh my God. It was crazy. Scott Norwood was on the ballot, but it was printed far right, so nobody could vote for him. No, it was Scott. Sorry, I had to throw that one in there as well.
Jump on the Michael Vick thing is, yes, Michael Vick had the dogfighting incident and everything, but you got to give him credit. He served the time. He came back, got back into the league, and did a lot of stuff like with animals and everything, trying to clean up trying to repair that image. And he also had a very productive second chance career, so to speak, in the NFL.
With both Philadelphia and with Pittsburgh. I agree with that, but I don't think he ever touched the peak he was at in Atlanta.
No, not at all. And that comes from being out of the game probably for as long as he was.
Yeah.
Does he get on a ballot and does he get close? I think he does. but like Tommy said, I don't think he's ever gonna get voted in. But at some point down the road, after his eligibility's run out, I guarantee you somebody somewhere is gonna go, hey, Mike Vick is like Donovan McNabb and Randall Cunningham, and he changed the game. He helped change the game for these running quarterbacks like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, so many others. We got to give him his credit due. Like, that's what I think is going to happen at some point. It's just not going to happen now, even though based on his overall stat-wise, which a lot of the NFL Hall of Fame is, it's based on your stat. It's based on how your career was and everything. It's that outside factor is going to keep him out.
Absolutely.
So here's my thing on it. I'll touch it. I'll make this really quick. We look at players like Byron Leftwich. Did he have a Hall of Fame career?
Absolutely not. He was probably one of the worst Jacksonville Jaguar quarterbacks I could ever remember.
Correct. But with his playing time, he did win games. He did lead a playoff game or two. So what's the next alternative there? Coaching.
Yeah.
Correct. And look where they're at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think the best thing, and look, he's a millionaire. I'm not going to tell him what to do. Mike Vick. The best thing for those type of players that don't get that kind of success is to get into the coaching game, get into an organization that you played for or you have ties into, and go up the ladder. Maybe, just maybe, he's a head coach soon. Maybe he has playoff wins. Maybe he wins a Super Bowl. That changes the whole concept of a player coach to a Hall of Famer.
I agree. A.O. Sambino says McNabb puked his way out of a Hall of Fame. Poor Super Bowl performance, in my opinion. Cannot disagree. The Eagles could never get it done. 3 NFC championships in a row and could not win the big one. But Andy Reid finally got his ring, like we said. So, yeah, guys, let's move on to one of the hottest topics in the NFL right now. Watson Watch. Deshaun Watson. More news regarding a possible trade for Deshaun Watson. This one comes from ESPN's Bill Barnwell, who proposed the trade idea of sending Deshaun Watson to Cleveland for both Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr., as well as the 26th pick in the 2021 draft, the first round pick of the 2022 draft, and a 4th round pick in the 2023 draft. Guys, what are your thoughts? We talked a little bit about this last week as far as Cleveland trading away who is honestly their franchise player at this point. I personally don't agree with that idea at all, especially after rebuilding. What do you guys think?
So let's file this under crackpot theories. I mean, what Deshaun Watson's heading to the West Ham United to go play football in England. Like, that's no. Cleveland would be out of their gourd to get rid of Baker Mayfield and Odell Beckham Jr. after the proven success of both of them. They have a formula that works, which you said, Cleveland is a quarterback machine. They just pump out quarterback after quarterback after quarterback. You know, everybody puts their 50 cents in with a penny, gets their souvenir penny when they leave the stadium.
Flat quarterback.
Nice little flat quarterback. Boom. You get that bag, you get your little souvenir. I played for Cleveland fucking penny, and you take off to wherever you're going next.
I have one of those. Has a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on it.
Exactly. We ran around the stadium looking for a way in because we're like, maybe we could try out. But, you know, bottom line is that Cleveland will not make this trade. Cleveland, they don't want to get rid of their quarterback. Baker Mayfield is the quarterback, and the fans of Cleveland, you guys are so wishy-washy back forth. Sorry, Tommy, I know it's not you, but the rest of the Cleveland fan base, I have never seen a fan base so against a man who just took your team to the playoffs. Saying, we need Baker Mayfield out and we need Deshaun Watson in. Why do you want to restart the process? You guys have been going through the process 2002.
2002. Before this year, 2002 was the last year that the Cleveland Browns made the playoffs. And by the way, they got bumped in the first round.
Cleveland doesn't know what a quarterback is, man. It's new to them.
Oh, they know what a quarterback is. They just don't know what a good quarterback is.
All right, I agree. So here's why that trade's not going to happen, and why we're so far away from something happening. The new management in Houston does not want to get rid of Deshaun Watson. They want to work with him. Deshaun Watson wants out. Well, we're here.
Oh, and
to
touch on that as well, like we said earlier, J.J. Watt also wants out. So, Houston, we have a problem.
Well,
Houston, we have big problems.
You also have to look at the situation Houston is in. Houston right now, they're in a massive just hole money wise.
Yeah.
Like they're just in a massive hole money wise. Sorry, there was a pop-up ad playing all of a sudden. So I do.
Damn it, Patrick.
Hashtag not sponsored.
No free ads.
So the thing is right now I believe that the Texans just have a lot of dead cap space from the DeAndre Hopkins trade. They have a lot of dead cap space,
which was a mistake. Let's just be real.
Yeah. The thing is they're talking about Deshaun, the Houston Texans front office, they want Deshaun Watson to stay. They don't want to trade him. But the thing is the Texans are going to have to make a trade somewhere, somehow, to one, get cap relief, and two, they've already said it. If the Texans do trade someone like a JJ Watt or whatever, like a lot of the players there are going to be brought in on league minimum salaries, and the situation for Deshaun Watson is not going to be any better than it was this past season. So, and then on top of it, you have players from other teams coming out, like Kareem Jackson from Denver, saying that he's talked to Deshaun Watson, and Deshaun Watson has shown interest in going to Denver and playing with Denver. It's the thing is okay, all right, Deshaun Watson wants to go to Denver. You put Deshaun Watson in that Denver offense with those receivers, Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, and Denver instantly becomes a contender in the AFC West.
Okay, I agree.
I think the problem there, though, is that it's not always proven that a quarterback makes a team. And yes, you may have a good quarterback, but if you don't have the team to back him up, regardless of how good the players are, if it doesn't mesh, it doesn't mesh. The Madden NFL games have shown that any Deshaun Watson trade is not possible.
It is impossible.
It is physically impossible.
When you turn off the cap, it's impossible.
If you turn off the cap, it's impossible. People have tried trading Patrick Mahomes and Kelsey to Houston and draft picks for only Deshaun Watson, and the game won't do it. It's hysterical. But I do think at the end of the day, it's clear Deshaun Watson wants out. It's clear that the coaching change was not going to change his mind. He wants out of Houston. The fact that J.J. Watt walked off the field at the end of their season and apologized to Deshaun Watson for wasting a year of his career.
Yep.
Quarterback years are extremely limited. They're not as limited as running back careers. They're not as limited as wide receiver careers, but quarterback careers do have an expiration date, Tom Brady being the absolute exception of that.
43 years in the league. Never looked better.
Yeah. Ages like fine wine. Rest of the quarterback classes seem to age like fucking curdled milk.
Looking at you, Big Ben.
But, he does look like curdled milk.
He looks like Will Ferrell ate Will Ferrell.
He looks like a spoiled bag of milk. Like a Canadian spoiled bag of milk.
Speaking of Big Ben Roethlisberger, the Steelers have went into contract negotiations to limit his cap space. That way he can return to the Steelers in 2021. Same with the Saints with Drew Brees. They've cut $13 million off of his contract to open up cap space. And he, as of right now, has no plans of retiring as of right now. But he did save a $14 million cap hit with the reconstruction of their contracts. So, boys, what's the stay at Big Ben and Drew Brees both come back for this season to help out a Jameis Winston or help out a Dwayne Haskins Jr., how does that play into the dynamic of building your future?
It's weird. I
What's
thought
that?
I was a host of this podcast.
I was throwing a question.
What are we doing? We're eating dubs. Drew Brees is coming back. I said it at the end of the season. Drew Brees is not going to go out like he did. You know, he was on the field talking to Tom Brady. Tom Brady was probably like, "You should try TB12. You can play another 30 years." Like, you
He
know,
was like, "Hey kid, go long and beam."
no, but they somehow throw the perfect spiral on a dime with a fucking football. Like, what the? Ugh.
Not off topic, but we mentioned TB12. I can't remember where it was. I read an article somewhere. Somebody did the TB12 diet that Tom Brady instituted for Gronkowski, because Gronkowski likes his alcohol.
Yep.
And everything. Basically what it was is for every alcoholic drink that you have to drink like you're up to 3 glasses of water, right? So he's like going through the process, everything, like, and it was like last year's Super Bowl or during the playoffs or something. And this guy that did it, he's getting through a glass and a half of like Jack and Coke, but in the meantime also having like almost 12, 13 glasses of water to contradict the alcohol using the TB12 method.
Hey, if it works, it works. In the chat, A.O. Sambino saying that trade is not worth it, referring back to the Cleveland trade. K-Swish saying Cleveland should stay away from that deal. A.O. Sambino, Cleveland will be set back. Brandon saying man has played out under a different playbook under a different head coach every year of his career and still proved himself. Crazy Shadow saying I think Cleveland should get rid of Odell but not Baker. And then Stambino saying DPJ will be the OBJ replacement. Keep OBJ if you can. K-Swish saying Pittsburgh needs to find a new quarterback. I agree. Let's move on from Watson Watch to the new Wentz Watch. Carson Wentz is on the clock. The Philadelphia Eagles are close to trading Carson Wentz with possible landing spots listed as Indianapolis and Chicago.
I was going to say Indianapolis is high on my list for where he's going to end up.
From the newest reports that I've seen, Indianapolis has the advantage right now because they're willing to put up a first round pick.
I'm sorry, I was interacting with the chat. Go on, you were saying.
So the thing is with Carson Wentz is maybe a change of scenery will be good for him. I don't know, but the Eagles have just essentially deteriorated in a matter of a month and a half, because at one point, okay, Doug Peterson's going to come back. We're gonna roll it with Carson Wentz. They have a meeting with Doug Peterson. Meeting doesn't go well. They decide to part ways with Doug Peterson. The coach they bring in. Okay, we're gonna use Carson Wentz. We're gonna rebuild. We're gonna focus with him. Now that plan's going out the window. Now it's okay. We're gonna trade him. But the thing is with the Carson Wentz trade and all these quarterbacks, you got to look at the dead cap that is with these deals. And especially going into a season next year where the salary cap is only going to be at best $175 million to $180 million.
$180, that'd be a crazy salary cap.
All
right, guys.
Player on the minimum.
You have $180 to spend this year. That's it.
So it's like they've said that the salary cap for next year is not going to be up above $180 million. So we've already seen it with the Stafford Goff trade. The Rams both teams already have dead cap because of the quarterback deals. With Carson Wentz, right now the Indianapolis Colts are the ones that are offering the first round pick with also multiple picks. Chicago, on the other hand, there's a lot of people in Chicago that are like not wanting this deal at all, because it's going, wait, you guys got the one quarterback that took them to the Super Bowl and it's obviously not worked. Now all of a sudden you're going to bring the other quarterback and hope it works. And that's the thing. There's talks in Chicago of just bringing back Trubisky for another year and seeing if they can make something of it. If not, then wipe the slate clean and just get rid of everybody and start over. Where Carson Wentz to Indianapolis, that would be better for him, because Indianapolis right now is got a playoff caliber team.
This is true. In the chat, K-Swish saying Colts would be the best fit. Brandon saying, you just gave Rob a heart attack with that alert. Crazy Shadow 2424 going, Wentz going to the Bears. AO Sambiano saying, Andrew Luck saying, don't bring Wentz in because I'm coming back. Now, as the resident Bears fan, how do you feel?
Look, man. Look,
Conversation's always going great when it starts off with, look, man.
And this is, I'm pulling in the Bears hat. I hate Nick Foles. You wasted $44 million on a quarterback that will not produce for you. He's not in our system. He is not a spread. He's not a spread offense. You want that young, mobile quarterback. Maybe Carson Wentz can pull this off. If he's brought in, I'm not excited about him. If he's getting traded to the Chicago Bears, I'm not. If I was Chicago, I would cut ties with Nick Foles, free up that $22 million cap hit. That's fine. I'll take that on the chin. And I would go out and look into the draft, the first round draft, and use it on the quarterback. You know Lawrence ain't going to be there. You know Fields ain't going to be there. But you have Trey Lance. You have Mackenzie Page. You have KJ Costello. And that's not my top pick. But you also have Mac Jones, which you're putting – those quarterbacks are still in the same position that Mitchell Trubisky was. We don't have the patience to build young quarterbacks. My fandom, my opinion as a coach, a fan – we gave up on Trubisky too much, and I feel the last couple of years there's been a lot of toxicity in the coaching staffs. Too much responsibility put onto Nagy. He shouldn't be calling offensive plays. That should be our offensive coordinator's job. And that's shown that you're on the same side of the coin. Flip it. If you're damned if you are, you're damned if you're not. It's frustrating as a Bears fan, but hat off, purple hat back on. The smart move here for Carson Wentz, again, I agree with Pat G, is that the Indianapolis Colts are a playoff team. They have a great foundation, and they have the offensive scheme that would fit Wentz better.
Not only that, though, but Indy sounds better than Chicago. And if they're going to run any sort of special, an Indy special just seems the most fun.
Mark.
Lots of Omahas.
Danny saying in the chat, stop saying Wentz to Indy. K-Switch responding, I don't like Wentz, but if he is 100% getting traded, that's his best spot to succeed. Crazy Shadow 2424 going, he is going to the Bears, no worries.
Well, this is the thing. You also look at Carson Wentz in Philadelphia. If Carson Wentz, when he was putting up solid numbers, he had a very decent receiving core, but he had a very reliable running game. What does Indianapolis have? Indianapolis has a very reliable running game with Jonathan Taylor and then Nyheim Hines, who can run the ball, but also has that pass catching ability, which Carson Wentz needs in a running back. Because if you look at Carson Wentz's number for how many years, he had LaShawn McCoy, he had Miles Sanders, he had running backs out of the backfield that could catch the ball, that could be a safety net when it needed to be. So Indianapolis is the best fit for him. Now, I don't know what Philadelphia would want for him. I know that there's talks that Philadelphia wants at least a first-round pick. With Indianapolis, with Indianapolis being one of the playoff teams and being late in the draft, you know what? Your team's a playoff team. Go ahead. Give up the first round draft pick because you need a quarterback.
From what I'm hearing is they want a Matthew Stafford type trade for Wentz.
Okay.
I don't think he's worth it.
I do not think he's worth it. I don't think Matthew Stafford was worth the Matthew Stafford type deal that happened.
I agree with 1,000%. I still don't know what
that trade was because the Rams were done with Goff. The Rams wanted.
Look, I don't care if he was done with Goff.
They took the best deal they had.
That was not the best deal. I could have taken him to McDonald's and gotten like 2 Big Macs, and that still would have been a better deal.
You can
y'all
have
got
my
a bag of footballs and used practice jerseys? All right, you can have them.
Y'all can have my fattest pig, the 2 onions, the turnip. You want the livestock over there? You can take it.
Like, that was not a good.
So the whole farm.
So ironically enough, AO Sambino saying Indy, just like the WWE, bringing in part-timers and afraid of commitment to start a young quarterback. Speaking of the WWE, this weekend, Doug Flutie wins the 24/7 championship from R-Truth during the Celebrity Sweat Flag Football Challenge. Of course, Truth would win the title back later on for his 49th WWE 24/7 championship reign. Guys, Buffalo finally won a championship.
Yeah.
Buffalo finally won a championship.
Excuse me, sir. The Buffalo's had championships before.
Not the Bills.
The league that they won championships in may be canceled right now.
Hey, you're skipping ahead of the script, my friend. We'll get to that in a second.
Anyways, Doug Flutie, champion quarterback in the CFL, WWE champion, throwing piss missiles in flag football. Let's go, Flutie.
Doug Flutie
I'm
has
his own
football video game.
Flakes. I'm going to go eat my Flutie Flakes. I'm going to get big and strong and play football until I'm 80 like Doug Flutie. And then I'm going to go win myself a WWE championship, too.
That's the dream. That's the dream.
Come back not confirmed.
All right, Rob, you got some NFL draft stuff for us.
Yes, sir. We're going to start off with the pro days. Trevor Lawrence requested that he throws at 8 a.m. So usually for pro days, quarterbacks are throwing between noon and 3 p.m., whether it's Central Time, Pacific Time, East, or whatever, depending on what their school schedule is. Trevor Lawrence has made a special request, which it got approved, that he's going to be throwing at 8 a.m. Eastern Time. And Justin,
he combed his hair the night before, and he doesn't want it to look messy.
It's all about the conditioner.
That gives him an advantage.
No.
Really? You think it's more of a disadvantage? Why is that?
I think it gives him an advantage wholeheartedly.
I don't think it's an advantage or a disadvantage. I think it's creating more eyes on your on scouting. So
the time block wouldn't be so crowded.
Correct. So now listen to this. He requested for 8 a.m. in the morning. Justin Fields requested to throw at 7 p.m. at Ohio State. So you hop on the plane, you go see Trevor Lawrence throw. You hop on another plane, go see Justin Fields. Now you've seen the number 1 and 2 prospects in the draft. Maybe you make a stop up in Alabama and you see Mac Jones throw at 3 p.m. You know what I mean? It's flight, but you also getting to see all the prospects.
So I think it's an advantage for him simply because of the fact that he's going to be the first thing on their mind. Everyone's going to be talking about him in the morning. I think it's a disadvantage because it shows that you already have some sense of entitlement that you can't throw with the normal quarterbacks during their normal time. And the one thing that I know a lot of people have said about this guy is that his entitlement is up there. That's been one of the biggest concerns for the NFL going into it, that the kid is entitled. I mean, he's got a reason to be, but at the same point in time, it's like, really, you don't really have the power to be demanding to throw first thing in the morning. Like, who do you think you are?
I think it comes more into the detail that they're not going to be a normal scouting combine. So having your pro day scheduled earlier might be it helps the scouts get what needs to be done for their job for the draft.
But I mean, at this point, with a first-round quarterback, a first potential overall pick, the 1 and the 2, you would think that at this point, if you're going to pick him, you're going to pick him. You know you're going to pick him.
Right.
With the draft this close,
well, we don't know. With Jacksonville, with Urban Meyer, we could he go after his last recruiting star quarterback, Justin Fields, at number 1 and bump Lawrence to New York?
I don't think so. And the reason I don't think so is because at this point in time, you've spent all year watching these guys play. You know it's going to be a different draft. Their essential, I'm throwing at 7 at night or 8 in the morning, is just a pissing contest to see who can be the first person on the mind or the last person on the mind. That's really it is for these two guys. The combine only matters for those guys going after round 1 towards the middle of the draft. That's where the combine maximizes the most for players, is to say, I want to move from 4th round to 2nd round. I want to move from the 7th round to the 5th round.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, and that's where the combine matters the most. You know, you look at these combines, and yes, they'll focus on the stars for the actual drawing power of the combine, broadcast. But the bottom line is that if you're going 1st overall, they've already made their decision. They already have your name written on a card, and they're waiting for draft day just to say, here you go. As long as you don't do anything stupid, they're waiting.
I still don't believe that number 1 pick is decided yet. I don't. I could say that it's a Trevor Lawrence. I could say that it's Justin Fields. We don't know what Urban Meyer is going to do.
Hold on. Eric, is that the 2nd different mug I've seen you use during this hour we've been live?
Yep.
Okay. Carry on, Rob.
Okay. Again, you can't put it past me that I'm not going to see Urban Meyer say, hey, I do believe in this kid over Trevor Lawrence. So I want to make and build my offense, which he did in Ohio State. They took a lot of persuading to get Justin Fields to come to Ohio State in his very last year.
This is true.
So again, I can't. We're in February. You got pro days in 10 days. You have the combine at the end of the month, and then you have your second private pro days in March before you start the speculation of who's going number 1. Is this team going to trade up? Whatever. Right now, I don't have a definitive number 1 pick because I don't know what Urban Meyer's thinking.
No, absolutely, and I respect what you're saying.
Urban Meyer was hired, though, do you think Lawrence goes number 1?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And see, that's the thing. I respect what you're saying, but I definitely think that whoever has the number 1 overall pick goes after that quarterback. They go after Lawrence because of the fact that he is a generational quarterback. He's going to be somebody that takes a franchise and runs it for the next decade. And so I think that any team, regardless, you can say Urban Meyer this, Urban Meyer that, oh, maybe he'll go after – but the problem is that Trevor Lawrence has proven himself. Yeah, Fields has proven himself as well, but the bottom line is that he's on the board, you're taking him. And like you said, if they pass him at 1, oh, he's going to New York at 2. He's absolutely going to New York at 2. But once again, back to the aspect of him being entitled. He already said, I'm not going to the Jets.
Yeah.
Which we also saw Eli Manning do the same thing, saying he wasn't going to go to the Chargers. And that's why New York and San Diego at the time swapped picks, and Rivers ended up going to San Diego.
Yep. Exactly. And so I don't think that we see I think we see him go number 1 overall specifically because of that. I don't think the Jets are going to go and waste their pick and be like, well, we can trade him. We can trade him. What do you want? What do you got? Because the Jets don't really.
Hold on. That is brilliant, though, because the Jets, well, for lack of better terms, have been trash. So, Who's to say that Lawrence does drop to number 2, and the Jets do exactly that? Trade Lawrence for a handful of guys that they can help still create something good with Sam Darnold.
Hit the button, Watson watch.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That also we're gonna have to get that sound. But here's the scenario here. Okay, and this is we'll have it recorded so I can go back and check it out and see how stupid I am. Here we go. Urban Meyer picks Justin Fields number 1. The Jets are on the clock. Number 2. Boom. They trade Watson to Houston. Houston comes up, takes Trevor Lawrence. With that pick, the Jets get Deshaun Watson, a future first-round draft pick, a a second-round draft pick and a fourth-round draft pick of this current year, and they go out and get receivers for Deshaun Watson. They don't have receivers. So you got guys like Lamar Chase. You have guys out there, Aaron St. Brown and USC, that are tall targets for Deshaun Watson, which is what he wants.
Not only to mention, the current Heisman Trophy winner is a wide receiver. And he's not slated to go until 16th.
Yeah.
So that is a very feasible possibility. Rob, please believe me, I will go back in time and I will watch this every time to see how wrong
Flag
you
the
are.
tape.
It's just a possibility, because I don't see a trade happening for Houston and Deshaun Watson right in the next month. It's not going to happen. They're too far apart. It's going to be a draft day trade. I just have that feeling.
Right now, the reports from Houston, within the Houston media, is they don't want to trade Deshaun Watson, but if he forces their hand, the Houston front office is looking for at minimum 3 first-round picks coming back.
The Jets have those.
Wild.
The Jets have those.
Which right now, the Jets are the only team that have those because of all the picks they got in the Jamal Adams trade from Seattle.
Yep. Brandon saying it isn't legal to draft with intent to trade. Show me the rule. Because teams have done that for years.
Yeah.
Teams have done that for years. Like it's
the
most infamous situation is, like I said earlier, Manning and Rivers.
Yeah, I don't think that it's going to be a draft with intent to trade. I think it's going to be a trade of the draft pick plus, and then they're just going to scoop the quarterback. So it's not intent to trade. It's more you rub my back and I'll rub yours, and my back just so happens to be located in my nether region, and that's. That's what they're saying. They want to get a little handsy, not like Pierre-Paul handsy or one hand.
Oh, Lord.
Wow. Rob,
it's an explosive deal, folks.
Jesus Christ. Rob, do you have any other draft stuff?
Look for Mac Jones to be the third quarterback off the draft board. I feel he has a strong arm, good.
He's going to New England.
Yeah, I was actually about to say that. New England's going to trade up and get Mac Jones. I think Belichick and Mac Jones would be a pretty nice little combo. But that's all I got on draft stuff.
So let's.
I'm still holding out hope for Trevor Lawrence to New England. That's been my prediction since he announced that he was going to the draft. I was like, New England's just going to go after him, and I've been putting it into the universe with positivity. I've been burning my good thoughts incense, my good fortune incense. I've been praying over my Patriots helmet, and I even offered to burn my Tom Brady jerseys if we can get him. I put it on the docket. If we get Trevor Lawrence, I'm going to do what I can to appease the football gods so he'll stay for the next 15 to 20 years.
So speaking of college football, EA Sports has announced the return of the college football franchise. Guys, we haven't seen a college football game since 2014.
Yep.
Honestly, I loved it. I love Dynasty Mode. I love the team builder. What do you guys think?
I love the fact that it's coming back. I do. There's a group of people out there that built a mod for the PS3 2014 version.
Okay.
Yep.
That allowed you to have the current teams and the current rosters and everything for all the college teams and everything. I understand EA is this big giant machine and everything, but I would love EA to go to these people and say, all right, we're going to hire you on a commission basis, whatever, to help us with this game, because I think those guys that did all those modifications for that PS3 version for that 2014 NCAA football would increase the ability to give us a fantastical NCAA college football game and not NCAA College Football 2021, aka Madden 2021.5.
That is honestly what my fear is that the NCAA series falls victim to what's going on with Madden. Because
this is me putting on my video game war cap.
Oh God, he's about to die
All right.
on the hill. So, like I said, my fear is the NCAA franchise falling the way of Madden and becoming a shell of itself because they are only catering to their pockets. And because, like I had said to you guys in a chat, they're going to do whatever it takes to get your money because they know they're going to get it regardless.
Yep.
There's no other circus in town for them to just, do something competitive. If you want college football, you're gonna buy this EA Sports game. You have companies like Midway try to do something. There was recently, I want to say it was mid last year. Actually, it might have been around this time last year, where a game came out. I believe it starred Doug Flutie. In all honesty,
the Doug Flutie football game,
and that flopped. Not because it was bad, but because it wasn't Madden.
So here's my thing: is that,
bad.
and this is once again, got the war helmet on. I'm ready to go battle for this. NCAA deserves to have a game. Now, here's my argument: what NCAA needs to have. NCAA needs to pay their players for their likeness. We need player likeness.
Agreed.
Simply because of the fact that, Pat, I know you said it, you want these active rosters. They will never pay somebody to do those active rosters. Do you know why? Because there are hardcore fans that do it for MLB. There's hardcore fans that do it for the NBA, the NHL. They will go in and create specific rosters with like stats, similar faces, and upload them for free. They do it with the NHL. They do it with MLB The Show. So
a perfect example of that, Eric, is the NBA 2K series. There is literally multiple draft classes that people make. Before this year's draft in NBA 2K20, they already had this year's draft class with Lonzo Ball.
Yep.
That's something somebody did on their own with the whole draft class.
Prior to MLB The Show 2020, Show 2020 having their first roster update with the minor league roster, so you literally just had Billy Blankenship with the big old random beard, and you're like, who the hell is this guy? And then, it turns into Tim Tebow. Because you downloaded the updated fantasy roster for all the minor leagues with what his guesstimate was. And then 2 months later, we actually got Tim Tebow in the game. I see the NCAA, if they go the route, they pay for the player likenesses because players can be paid now.
Yes,
the NCAA did allow that as a law.
Give us the player likeness. Give us the ability to import draft classes from NCAA to Madden. Give us the ability to import our.
Which they did. They did have that option back in.
Oh, Patrick! I'm on a run. I'm on a run, Patrick. The war helmet is on. War helmet. So give me my likenesses, give me my draft class, give me the ability to make my create a player, run through a career mode for 4 years in NCAA, and then import my guy into the draft class so I can use him in the franchise.
In 2010, I want to see.
I want that back simply because of the fact that I love your franchise mode where you're able to solo run a character. You gave us the ability to have a little bit more of a story this year in Madden 21. But what I want to be able to do is I want to be able to run that career, much like MLB The Show has the Road to the Show, much like NBA 2K has the Be a Player, much like NHL has the Be a Pro. Give me the ability. I know franchise mode is where they make their money. I know that not franchise mode, the
Ultimate Team.
The My Team essentially. I know that's where they make their money, but at the end of the day, it really needs to come down to what the basic player is going to do. Where do you want to see the basic player get the most out of this game? And it's going to be a mode like that, a mode like franchise mode, where they're able to import draft classes. You want them to spend the money on the NCAA game and play it the most to get the most out of it? Give us the ability to import these draft classes. Give us the ability to create these players in these situations where we can be the number one overall draft pick. I'm sick of making players in Madden and they're like, oh, you have this elite guy. By the way, he's a 70 overall and he's going to sit on the bench for the first 3 years. No, give me the ability to be a Josh Allen. Give me the ability to be a Trevor Lawrence when I can get drafted first overall. Be a caliber player that's an 85, 87, a 90. I don't have to be a 99 overall to start, but give me the ability to lead a team onto the field and have a shot where I'm not throwing 12 interceptions a game because I'm a 67 overall with a 69 passer rating. Like,
Nice.
So I've won games with Colt McCoy at 58 overall. So
I'm just gonna take my helmet off now.
All right, so guys, now we are moving on to MLB news. Let me pop this up on the screen real quick. Reigning Cy Young winner Trevor Bauer is on the move from Cincinnati to the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are the reigning MLB champs, on a 3-year, $102 million deal, which he can opt out after the first 2 years. So at this point, the possible starting five for the Dodgers: Clayton Kershaw, Walker Buehler, Trevor Bauer, David Price, Dustin May. Eric, Pat, you two are two big baseball guys. What are your thoughts?
I hate it.
I don't like it. This is in direct response to what the Padres have done, plain and simple. And also, it goes against what Trevor Bauer has done for years. Trevor Bauer has always stated that he will never sign a long-term deal. He'll never sign a contract more than a year. So my question is, what did the Dodgers say to him that made him change his philosophy as far as contracts go to sign a 3-year deal? And yes, while he can opt out after 2 years is fine. But if you look at Trevor Bauer's career, he's never signed more than a year deal at a time.
So I hate this deal because I like Trevor Bauer and I hate the Dodgers. The Dodgers have this crazy NBA logic with their roster of just load it up with as many superstars as humanly possible. Let's get as many names on here that are recognizable, and let's make a push towards the playoffs where we'll inevitably lose to the Padres. It's annoying. I hate that they're doing it. You know, the Yankees stopped doing it, and at least the Yankees are starting to build up their farm system. And yes, they do have names, and they go after big names, but they also have homegrown names. You know, they're not out there buying any old player who's the fucking top pitcher right now. Trevor Bauer, just fucking grab him. Just throw money at him and grab him.
I think a lot of it has to do with that championship potential, because as I said, the Dodgers are the reigning World Series champions. Why wouldn't you want to go with the winner? You're never going to get anywhere with the Reds. Just like you never. Oh God.
Video game hat is back.
Just like
this is also why I hate it.
He was an Indian, correct?
Yeah.
He wasn't going to go anywhere there because the NL Central is the weakest division in Major League Baseball.
And the thing is when he was with the Indians, he was part of a very good pitching staff. That 2015 to 2017 window that Bauer was with the Indians, that was their window.
Hey, how's that pitching staff going now, by the way?
It's blown up to smithereens.
Okay.
Eric, you have the helmet on. Go.
Back to my video game war helmet. The reason I hate this trade is because I'm going to have to go into the fucking marketplace like Thanos, looking at little one, trying to collect the NL West, and they're going to be like, what did it cost? And I'm going to be like, it cost everything. I hate it. I hate it so much. I already struggle trying to get Mike Trout. If I don't pull him, I don't get him. And now I got to get Trevor Bauer in the NL West. You're killing me, man. Just go to the East. Go to the Central. Stay away from the West. You don't want to be the wicked pitcher of the West. Go to the East.
There was actually before Bauer signed with the Dodgers.
There were talks about the Mets, if I'm correct.
There were talks about the Mets and the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays and the Mets were talking to him, but I think it was, from what I read, is the Blue Jays were closer than the Mets were. The Mets were offering more money, but the Blue Jays were closer than the Mets because the Blue Jays have the playoff roster ready now with the moves that they did, bringing in George Springer, trading for Marcus Semien, having the youth movement that they do with Bichette and Biggio and Vlad, and then the pitching. They needed someone for the pitching staff, and Bauer was that target. But like you said, Tommy, the Dodgers have that already created championship caliber team that Bauer wants. Bauer wants a championship.
Speaking of the Toronto Blue Jays, the Texas Rangers have traded shortstop Elvis Andrus for Oakland DH Chris Davis, filling the gap left in a 6-hole by the Marcus Semien trade. That trade also involves 3 prospects. So what is your outlook on both the AL West and the AL East now with that trade?
With that trade, it gives the Texas Rangers a little bit of flexibility money-wise, but it also gives them a different dynamic because you have Chris Davis, who is one of the best young power hitters in the game.
Absolutely, 1,000%.
So it gives the Rangers the flexibility and everything. But then on the flip side of that, any team that trades for a shortstop right now, unless after the Lindor trade happened, a lot of people were, okay, Lindor's off the market. People are looking for shortstops because now all of a sudden a lot of teams have all this ability to want. They don't have shortstops. There's not enough.
Sander Bogarts, sir.
Yeah.
A lot of teams don't have shortstops.
Well,
he is going to lead the East as a shortstop next year. He is
absolutely.
Shortstops in the AL right now.
Absolutely. It's just it was more like the Francisco Lindor trade happened, and it was teams that were missing a hole at shortstop were looking to fill that with somebody that had name value.
Yeah.
I do not disagree.
I blame Derek Jeter for that. For wanting name value. I mean, honestly, everyone's like, we want a captain at shortstop. And that's the problem is you're not going to get a Derek Jeter at shortstop. You're going to need somebody to run that infield. It can be a second baseman. Look at Dustin Pedroia.
The closest, in my opinion, to that Derek Jeter level shortstop was probably Jose Reyes.
Yep.
Yeah. And what's interesting now is now that Trevor Bauer and Marcelo Ozuna, who just re-signed in Atlanta for 4 years.
Yeah, going back home to Atlanta.
Yeah. So right now, the interesting thing is the top 10 free agents that remain after these 2 big deals with Bauer and Ozuna. You have Justin Turner, James Paxton, Jackie Bradley Jr., which he's been rumored to go. Cleveland's been rumored to go after him. You have Tejan Walker, Jake Andrizzi, Trevor Rosenthal. A lot of them is pitchers. Yadi Molina's still there, Porcello's still out there, Arrieta's still out there, and then Marwin Gonzalez, who for the Astros, the cheaters, pretty much did everything for them at one point.
We have to refer them as the Houston Asterisks.
Okay.
We don't call them cheaters. They're not cheaters. They're the Asterisks.
That works. I can accept that. I can
Cans.
accept that.
Let's go.
Yeah.
I can accept that.
Back to MLB stuff, though. I do have the question. I don't know if anybody has the answer to it. Has Toronto found a home for this season? I know that
not at this point.
So Canada has specifically stated you're not playing in the country.
Correct.
Playing in the country.
The same thing
Playing in the country. Yeah. And to kind of like move with some Canadian stuff, the sport of hockey. You look at like the AHL right now. The Amerks have announced that they're playing a 32-game season against their division.
Yep.
Right. Which
is
it's a 14 division.
Similar to what the NHL is doing. So I think they could go the route of what the NBA has done with the Toronto Raptors and have them play elsewhere. We saw that last year with the Blue Jays playing in Buffalo. Honestly,
that most likely is going to be the same thing.
Absolutely.
From what I've seen in listening to Toronto sports radio via online right now, they haven't made the announcement, but most likely, yes, you'll have the Blue Jays down in Florida for spring training and everything. But
MLB has said was going to start on time as well as the season. I do not agree with that. I do think that spring training should be shortened, if not canceled, and they should just do regular training camps. That's my opinion, simply for player safety. But yeah.
So my only other question and problem with Toronto going to Buffalo is specifically the fact that the minor leagues haven't announced what they're doing this year. So do you get rid of the Bisons for a year? Do you lose that minor league baseball team and the affiliate, especially at a time where minor league baseball is so not promised? They got rid of over 100 teams in the minor league system from single A, short season, all the way up to AAA. You see all this restructuring. Do you really risk losing that minor league team? Do you, as the Toronto Blue Jays, essentially shoot yourself in the leg with your farm system to just say, we need a home to play in. Sorry, AAA, we're going to play here. It's not really a league where you can say, well, you're away, we'll play home, and while we're home, you play away. It's just the structure would not work, because then you look at COVID protocol. Correct. What happens if the Toronto Blue Jays have a breakout? Now the Bisons can't play because they share the same clubhouse. Now the Blue Jays can't play because they're sharing the same clubhouse. How do you make up those games? Because now you have to fit these specific amount of, and so you run in. There's just so much rigmarole that you run into there. I just don't think it's possible if the AAA has a season.
Yeah, I know AAA's not announced what they're doing. There's been, from what I know, from the few people I know that work within the Bison's organization, there's been talks of, if the Blue Jays do decide to play in Buffalo, having a secondary site be for the Bisons at where the old rock pile used to be here in Buffalo, Jefferson Best, because that's where a lot of the high school baseball teams play during the high school baseball season, and them just retrofitting that stadium with like pop-up locker rooms and stuff, and that if there's a like home and home conflict.
Yeah, so then that's the other thing, too, that I guess I just don't see happening, is they already had to retrofit the stadium in Buffalo for the Major League Baseball, for the broadcasts, for all the lighting. They had to upgrade everything. And so, how much money do the Blue Jays then pump into Buffalo to now retrofit a second stadium? And that's the biggest argument that needs to be made. You can always go college fields, which, I understand.
But would be perfect.
Yeah, but you're still taking a team out of their home stadium and making them an away team every game now. And I don't think that's fair to the Bisons. I don't think it's fair to the fans. I don't think it's fair to Toronto. I understand COVID, worldwide pandemic, all of that. There's obviously things that are more important than baseball. But if you're going to do it, you got to do it right. You can't put a team out. You can't de-home a team because you need to be there. This is why I've always argued since the pandemic started, we need a bubble system for the MLB. We need to have set stadiums where set teams play for certain days. That way we'll be able to keep team, transition from COVID down to an absolute minimum. We'll be able to make sure that we can get this 162 game season, so we're not getting, fucking 30 win teams getting into the playoffs because they only play 60 games. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm, running the league, and I'm saying, here's what we need to do, I'm implementing a bubble system. I'm saying these are the 3 stadiums for the West. These are 3 stadiums for the Central. These are 3 stadiums for the East. We're going to play this game. It's going to be a condensed season. We're still going to play as many games as humanly possible. You're playing this division. You're playing this division. You're playing this division. Then we have a set playoff where these 3 teams, and these 3 teams round robin. You know what I'm saying? So you throw up, you switch up the playoffs, you round robin with it to get to a final 4 teams. Once you get to those final 4 teams, there's AL, your NL.
Boom, done.
Then you get your World Series. You neutral site the World Series so everyone can stay safe for the 7 games, and you just flip who the home team is.
I think with that, I'm here for that. I think with having the sports that you have over, NFL plays 17 game or 16 game regular season, baseball, hockey, all those basketball that have 50, 60, 100 something games. I think that's a perfect way to implement that. So, yeah, I 100% agree with your bubble system.
Right, so,
And then
you
got to look at the NHL. The NHL with all the changes that they just recently implemented.
Yeah, removing the bench glass.
Yeah, they're trying moving the bench glass and everything. They're trying to create more airflow apparently because it's now been determined that hey, COVID can get caught in close contact situations.
You don't say.
Wow.
Yeah. So hey, let's remove all the glasses and everything and try to get more airflow going.
So essentially, they want to turn it into professional pond hockey. Like I said in our group chat earlier this week when the news was announced, I'm just waiting for the line shift where somebody's just sprinting down the steps and skates with a stick from like the 15th row, and they just eat shit and bup down the stairs because they're trying to get on the ice before they get a too many men on the ice call. Yeah, I'm just really counting down the minutes until that happens. Just watching Ovi just surf down the stairs.
Why Ovi? Leave Ovi out.
You seem to surf down the stairs like.
Let it Crosby. Let it be Crosby.
No, I want Crosby to try to do the rail slide with his butt, get 3-4 rows down, then go backwards and thrown into a seat.
But we'll touch more on COVID protocol. Right now, got some NASCAR news. Let's pop this graphic up right here. As you guys see, WWE SmackDown Women's Champion Sasha Banks was named the honorary starter for the Daytona 500 next Sunday on Fox, February 14th on Fox. Rob, Eric, I know you guys are the big NASCAR guys. Do you have any updated predictions, any updated news first regarding NASCAR?
I don't have any news. I think Eric has the news, but my three predictions. I'll get my predictions out the way and then let Eric do his thing. Kevin Harvick, Logano. And I hate to say this, man, but I hate Kyle Busch, but I feel he'll sneak in it. So those are my three. The big one's going to happen in the last 3 laps.
It always happens, especially at Daytona. Everybody's getting that, it's the open track, 200-mile-an-hour racing down that back stretch. It always happens on the last 3 laps. So, I think it's a pretty safe bet. You can put the farm on it that there's going to be a huge wreck at the end of the race. But I think, honestly, out of everybody that's going to be there, Denny Hamlin's going to win it all. I think he's going to win it again. I would like to see an up-and-comer win it. I would love to see Bubba Wallace take a victory, open up the season strong with Michael Jordan and 23XI. I would love to see that because then Denny Hamlin wins again. It's his team. But there is some changes going on to speed weeks. Now, this is the Super Bowl of racing. We got the Super Bowl today. It's not the only amazing thing that's going on in Florida this week. You do have the Super Bowl tonight. But in recent years, we have these single car cup qualifying leads on the Sunday before the Daytona 500, which would be technically today, leading up to the Busch Clash following in the afternoon. They have changed that up a little bit. So because the Super Bowl's today, they are doing the Busch Clash on Tuesday, February 9th. Which is actually going to be an exhibition race, not raced on the 4 corners of Daytona, but raced on the road course, which is a 14-turn, 3.61-mile road course, as opposed to the 4-turn, 2.5-mile high-banked oval. Single car qualifying will then follow Wednesday, February 10th, setting the front row for the Sunday race itself, with the blue-green vacation duels starting afterwards on February 11th, setting the rest, so 3 through 40 going back. The starting lineup main event from the 2nd row through the 20th row will be, after that. And then we run the Daytona 500, 63rd annual Daytona 500, February 14th. So
did they announce the Truck Series time?
I didn't see the Truck Series.
I know Fox Sports 1. It's going to be Friday because they do Truck Series, Xfinity, and then Cup Series. 7:30.
Okay.
Under the lights. And then the Busch Series Xfinity is going to be at 5:30, and then your main event for the Daytona 500.
Yeah, and I mean, we went over our predictions and odds last week. You know, obviously, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Kurt Busch, and Kevin Harvick. All of those are 10-1 odds right now. So, you know, Chase Elliott is, I think he has a potential to win it as well with how well he did last year. He's more consistent on road courses than he is, you know, super speedways like this. But, you know, my big, bold pick, which isn't really that big and bold because he won it last year, was Denny Hamlin.
All right. So now, once again, touching back on the COVID protocol situation, COVID-19 pandemic, the National Lacrosse League has canceled their season, initially slated for an April start date. Amidst travel and logistic concerns over the pandemic, they announced that on Wednesday. National Lacrosse League is the largest pro lacrosse league in the world, boasting 13 teams, 8 based in the United States and 5 in Canada. Pat, you know a thing or two about lacrosse. You are a Buffalo Bandits fan. What are your thoughts?
So last year, the NL generally starts their seasons end of December, early January. Last year, COVID-19, of course, pretty much crushed it. The season was like a third of the way through. They canceled all the games. They were going to try to have an abbreviated season this year, but due to the fact that you had 8 teams in the United States, 5 in Canada, they were going to try to implement something what the NHL did, because the thing that a lot of people don't know is all the NL teams that are in the leagues are basically in NHL cities. So the NHL owners own the National Lacrosse League team. So your Terry Bagula, who owns the Sabres, owns the Bandits. The owner of the Flyers owns the Wings as well, so on and so forth. What they were going to try to do is...
So that's the defending champion Wings. So.
Yeah. So what they were going to try to do is they were going to try to do a condensed, abbreviated bubble. 4 teams in the East, 4 teams in the West, and then your 5 teams in Canada. Okay. And then play it out and everything. But due to the travel situation, and then the NHL games being played in the home stadiums, especially with the NHL games being in the afternoon, the logistics of it weren't allowing the NLL to make a season. So now they're like, all right, we're just going to not play. They're going to focus on next year and see what they can do. The thing is, with the NLL, unlike NHL, NBA, MLB, or maybe not so much MLB, because you got to have players go down and play in Puerto Rico and down there. The NLL, a lot of those guys, they have everyday 9-to-5 jobs for the longest time. If you've been a Bandits fan, John Tavares was a 3rd grade math teacher in Ontario. The players that play in the NLL can also play in the MLL, which is the outdoor leagues. You can play in box lacrosse leagues up in Canada. So while those leagues still probably will be playing this summer, because you'll have the option to, because hopefully by this summer things might be a little bit more opened up, and you can still have that thing of where people will still be in lacrosse shape. So they're like, okay, you know what? Our players are still going to be able to play in the summer leagues and the outdoor leagues in the spring and summer. You know what? Let's focus on next year and try to come back strong.
Gotcha. So more COVID news. Friday night, Kevin Durant of the Brooklyn Nets, he had a weird night. He was initially starting. He got pulled from the starting lineup. Then he was eligible to play a few minutes into the first quarter, and he played until he got pulled in the third quarter for contact tracing protocols. He didn't travel with the team to Philadelphia for last night's game. Apparently, Durant had came into contact with an associate on Friday who tested positive just hours after returning an inconclusive test shortly before the Nets lost 123 to 117 to the Toronto Raptors down in Tampa. Durant would tweet, and let me pop this up on the screen. He would tweet the words "Free me." We assume from the incubation he had to then go through. So honestly, this gives a lot of validity to stars like De'Aaron Fox, LeBron James, Giannis Antetokounmpo, saying that the All-Star game that is scheduled for March 7th in Atlanta is both stupid and unnecessary. And just as a reminder, Kevin Durant contracted coronavirus back last March, still had antibodies in his system this past January, where he missed 3 games, and then he missed 3 more games over a 6-day span 4 weeks later.
Well, with how dominant COVID has been, it makes sense that Kevin Durant would go play for him.
My next chapter.
The interesting thing is a lot of the star players have come out and spoke against the All-Star game, and it's dumb, stupid, so on and so forth. What's even funnier is the NBA released a statement yesterday actually. Okay. They issued a guidance, telling players, coaches, and other employees that they may not go to a Super Bowl party outside of their own home.
Yeah.
It was basically the NBA doesn't want the Super Bowl to turn into a super spreader. The NBA being mindful of the potential virus related issues, which why them having the All-Star game is hilarious. Mm-hmm. Mindful of the potential of the virus-related issues that can come from attending even small gatherings, the NBA issued guidance Saturday telling players, coaches, and other employees that they may not go to a Super Bowl party outside their own home. And if they do watch with others, keep the invite list basically to family only. Teams spending Sunday on the road will not be permitted to leave their hotel to watch the game, according to the memo obtained by the Associated Press. So basically, if you're not playing and you're home, you can watch the game as long as it's with your family, but you can't go to the bar or go to someone else's player's house. No, you can't have that. But at the end of February, hey, we're going to host an All-Star game like normal and try to bring some normalcy to the season.
You know what? The NBA just needs to hold a Super Bowl super spreader event with the host super shredder. That way we can just hit the trifecta. I think the All-Star game's a money grab. Honestly, I think at the end of the day, they're trying to get everything they can to recoup any funds that they are not making as owners and as a league by having to play where they play.
But the thing is that fans still aren't allowed at the All-Star game. So what money are they making?
It's broadcasting money.
It's
very similar to the Super Bowl, where the Super Bowl, they get their broadcasting money and then they get their advertising money. Yeah. The All-Star game is just going to be another money grab for, okay, look at all the All-Stars playing together. It's not COVID year.
And here's my thing. Here's my thing is if you make the All-Star game, you get voted into the All-Star game just like the Pro Bowl, you get a money bonus. The NBA's Players Association voted that during the COVID, the trials of COVID, that the contracts are all decreased. Your money is decreased. They don't get paid for the All-Star game. So for seeing and then get upset about having to still do the All-Star game, I understand 100%. So I feel cancel the All-Star game, the dunk contest, and trick shot, whatever. Rigmarole.
All the challenges,
It's not needed. You're having on TV, you're broadcasting money. Have the no names go up there. The people that aren't already making enough money, not your LeBron James or
stars.
Well, it wouldn't. That would just be one of their futures games that they already do during the All-Star week.
Yeah, you're missing the celebrity versus the All-Stars. It's like. All right.
So, at the end of the day, you could still do something like the 3-point contest. You still could do something like the dunk contest because there is that social distancing in order. But when it does come down to something like the All-Star game, you're putting multiple teams at risk simply to have
every team at risk.
Exactly, to have these superstar squads put together when, in all reality, if you just want to see a superstar squad, just put out the fucking the any team really. There's just a bunch of teams out there that are just with superstars.
All right, Lakers and Mavericks. That's the All-Star game. Let's go.
Yep.
Yike.
All right.
I don't know, man. The Pistons took the Lakers to the max last night.
Yep.
I don't know what's in the water in Detroit. The Red Wings need to drink it. But,
Yep.
I don't know. We should ask Flynn.
Oh God, guy.
Hey man, I'm being pro-political. Find out what's in the water in Flint.
Jesus.
They want an All-Star game. We can't tell what's in the water in Flint.
Speaking of COVID protocol, the Kansas City Chiefs had a COVID scare after a player tested positive last Sunday. As of last night, all players are negative, including Daniel Kilgore, Demarcus Robinson, who were both put on the COVID reserve list. They are listed as eligible to play. Does this affect the psyche of the Chiefs? And is the NFL doing enough to prevent this?
It does affect the psyche. Can you imagine that dude who's got half a haircut right now? He's sitting on that sideline, nobody near him, like, look at your half haircut ass. Sitting there, possibly.
I like your cut, G.
Which your weird ass haircut. I hope he at least did the sides first and just kind of left him with like a weird mullet.
Jesus.
So, no, I don't think it affects the psyche at all. I think it's going to be fine.
I made the joke of Tom Brady strikes again. Tom Brady found a way to win the Super Bowl. He gave every player on the opposite team COVID.
Are you positive you want to go to the Super Bowl, Tom? Yes. No. Fuck. COVID protocol.
He sent that barber in, spy in disguise, gave him some deflated balls, a few jerseys, whatever.
It's just Bill Belichick with like a hat on, and he's just like, who wants a haircut? Why is everyone on a flat top, Bill? My name's not Bill. My name's William. William, not Belichick.
William, not Belichick. On that note, guys, we are going to take a quick commercial break, and then we get into the main event. You guys came here for Super Bowl talk. We're going to talk Super Bowl talk. We're going to talk predictions, updated predictions, because we made some last week. We're going to talk Vegas odds. Rob, you have the handle on that. Guys, we'll be right back. All right, guys, and we're back. What the fork, Eric? Oh my God. And we're back. Super Bowl news. Super Bowl Sunday tonight, 6:30 p.m. on CBS is kickoff. Obviously, the pre-show shenanigans start before then. I believe it starts at 6. Guys, I mean, so we're missing stuff. We're missing stuff right now. Well, that's what we're here to do. That's what we're here to do. All right. So, defending champion Kansas City Chiefs, the AFC champions. Fantastic season this year. Number 1 seed in the AFC go up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, NFC wildcard winners. Tom Brady playing in his 10th Super Bowl, going for his 7th ring for the first time ever. The team that actually plays in a stadium hosting the Super Bowl will be playing in the Super Bowl as the home team. Oh, God. I did it again. I did it again.
You did it on me.
I did it again.
Microphone.
Oh, my God. I did it again.
Readers.
So, as Pat was saying, of course, the commercials are going to start at 1. They got to push everything. Yeah, I'm a big dum-dum. I did it again. That's 2 weeks in a row. I'll get it next week. I promise I'll get it next week. We just can't go to a commercial next week.
Wrestling logic proves you can't do it 3 times in a row.
This is true. It's BIP 1, BIP 2, duck the 3rd. Yeah, I got this.
Yeah, so wrestling logic is on our side because that's in your blood. You can't do it a 3rd week in a row. And if you do it a 3rd week in a row...
To jump off the conversation from the other night, where Eric said he could still cut a mean wrestling promo, and Tommy's like, I've completely forgot all things how to cut promos. Tommy is still remembered the 1, 2, 3 step.
Oh, of course. You can't forget that. Can't forget that. Bip,
1, 2, 3 step while you're pooping.
No, that's so your legs don't go numb.
Yep. I've been sitting here a long time, brother.
But yes, Bucks Chiefs tonight, Super Bowl 6:30 p.m. CBS. Guys, do we have any updated news? Do we have any updated predictions? Rob, I know you got some Vegas odds for me.
Yep, I'm gonna go last.
I have Bucks over Kansas City, 34-27.
34-27?
Okay.
Yep.
So,
Tom Brady's taking a home an MVP, and he's sailing off into the sunset.
Until next season?
Yes.
Some interesting predictions from Cynthia Freeland of NFL.com. Tom Brady will hit two of 3 of benchmarks.
Okay.
28 completions, 315 yards passing, 2 total touchdowns. She predicts the Chiefs will not win by more than 4 points.
Interesting.
The first touchdown of the game will be scored by a player with a jersey number less than 15.
So, kicker.
Yeah.
Or Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes.
Godwin, Hill, Mahomes, Brady.
Travis Kelce will have fewer than 117 receiving yards.
I don't agree with that.
I don't either.
The game's first play from scrimmage will gain at least 5 yards. Tyreek Hill will not have the longest play from scrimmage in game. And then
I don't agree with that either.
And then Mike Evans will have a reception of 10 plus yards before Chris Godwin.
Oh, absolutely. I do agree with that.
Yeah, dude.
I think
What's your result?
I'm going to change it up. I'm going to go Tampa Bay 34, Kansas City 27.
Oh, you're doing a prediction.
He's trying to be on the right side of history, man.
You know what? It's after listening back last week when I was doing the editing for the audio edition and listening back to it, and Eric making the statement of Tom Brady, and like Tom Brady just gets into this mode. And the NFL Network, they've been playing it. They've shown highlights of the Brady Super Bowls and everything from and that leading up to that today. I'm not going to disagree with it. If you look at the Brady Super Bowls, every time he's on his game, like he's just on his game, and the only times that they've lost is because
Eli Manning.
Eli Manning, or some ridiculous, miraculous play that should never ever happen.
I'm telling you right now, if at any point during the game you see the Buccaneers down by 1 to 2 possessions, and Tom Brady's on the bench with his head down and his hands crossed like this and his elbows on his knees,
the game's over.
Storm that is about to rain on you. And 2.
28-3.
28-3.
That's you know what that
28 my favorite date.
What's funny is Eric mentioned it last week, the 28-3 and everything, and with the Falcons. It's funny because NFL Network, like I went back and I was watching highlights from that game online, and Brady was in that exact pose, like in the beginning of the third quarter, and then you saw the comeback, and now Eric, I was like, that's just Tom Brady going Super Saiyan level 6.
It really is. He's over 9,000. It's all over.
Yeah.
Tom Brady, honestly, and I've said it before, I'll say it 1,000 times. We need to attract.
You did quote Space Jam. I hate him.
No, Tom Brady is different in the regular season than he is in the playoffs, than he is in the Super Bowl. Super Bowl Tom Brady is a whole different beast, and it's something that Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs haven't seen. I think that Tom Brady is going to go in there. I think it's going to be a slow start to the game. I think we go into halftime, maybe tied at 14, maybe having the Chiefs up 17-14. I think the Chiefs only get 10 points in the second half. I think the Chiefs end up with 27. I think that New England ends up putting up that 34-27 score. I think that, honestly, Tom Brady's going to win MVP because he's going to throw over 400 yards. I think he's going to throw over 400 yards. I think he's going to get at least one rushing touchdown on some sort of quarterback sneak that Tom Brady does. He's notorious for pushing over that line, getting pushed in by his running back, his fullback, you name it. I think that Evans is going to catch at least one touchdown. I think that we're going to see at least one Gronk spike. So
it won't even be his touchdown. He's just going to pick up the ball and spike.
Give me that ball. Bam.
So honestly, I think Mahomes is going to throw for 2 touchdowns. I think he's going to run for 2 touchdowns. I do have the Chiefs over the almost said the Pats. The Chiefs over the Bucks, 28-21.
Okay.
At least I've changed up my opinion, my score prediction at least since last week, but I still have the Chiefs over.
All right. So let's get into Vegas odds, and then I'll hit my prediction.
All right.
So this is not a game that you want to go money line on. The Bucks are plus 145. You put down a $25 bet, you're only making $28. You're making $3. The same. The Chiefs are negative 165. You want to win $25, but you got to pay $33 to do it. It's not. This ain't the game to do it. Unless you're really, really confident. Yeah. Over under is 56 points. I feel they're gonna break that. Game props, receiving yards, point differential. These 3 receivers are going to score a touchdown. Anytime scorers, those are the ones that you guys want to look at. I have now. I'll let you guys know which ones I got right now for tonight. I have even the funny ones like the national anthem or the coin toss. Those are funny ones just to get into. So I have Patrick Mahomes will have the longest completion of 50+ yards and 50 yards rushing. That's at plus 1,200. $25 bet. It's only $25 if you're losing. If he gets it, it's $300. Jump on that. If you're gonna do the bets on the game, pick parlays. There's a 2-team parlay. Pick your over and under plus your result. It's not much. It's like $85 to $96 depending on who you pick. Chiefs Bucks. I picked the national anthem just for fun. 91 seconds to 100 seconds. Eric Church, don't let me down.
Oh, you've already let him down. You couldn't even get his name right.
Yeah.
That's all right. I don't even listen to your music, guy. Calm down.
From what
I
I've
listen to a whole album.
From what I've seen, because they one of the sports radio shows that I listened to, they had one of the people on, and they were talking about the prop bet for the national anthem. Eric Church and Jasmine Sullivan are teaming up to perform it, and
2 minutes and 8 seconds.
From what he said is Jasmine Sullivan likes to hold on to the final note, and it's been tagged at somewhere between a minute 28 and a minute 40, or whatever, almost 2 minutes long.
I mean, Rob, that could be your push. That could be your push.
It's going 2 minutes, 8 seconds. I'm calling the spot.
You need to pull out a stopwatch for that.
And if you look at the comparisons from the last 2 years, Demi Lovato went 2:03 last year, and Gladys Knight going 2:01 the year before that, and then Pink back in 2018 went a minute 53. So if you're looking for the national anthem because of the extended note at the end, you might end up with Eric, because she might hold it, because with the crowd you have the 30% crowd, you have the cardboard cutouts. She might hold.
I want one Bernie. Give me one Bernie. What are the Vegas odds that we get a Bernie cutout? Just. He's wearing pants.
Yeah, so that's what it is. That's one of the prop bets a lot of people were talking about is if you're gonna get a Bernie. Somebody posted on a forum if you're gonna get a Bernie cutout as one of the 30,000 cutouts that they're using.
I fucking hope so.
Rob, what else you got?
Like I said, there's just a couple. The parlays, you get your over and under. I'm gonna go over. As my final result, I put one in for the Chiefs. I put one in as the Bucks. It'll even out. Some game props, receiving yards. Antonio Brown under 48.5 yards. Under. Mike Evans over 65 yards receiving. The touchdowns you might want to look at: Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, Godwin, Evans. Look for those four. Try to find a Cameron Brate might be a good one. My prediction for this game: Kansas City 34, Tampa Bay 28.
Okay. So me and
We're
Rob
all
going
pretty close.
KC. Me and Rob going KC. Eric and Pat going Tampa.
I just want to remind you, and this is the only thing I want to remind you, whenever Tom Brady has been an underdog in Vegas odds, he wins.
This is true.
So that's something to remember.
I made a bet on both.
Like I said, I think making the bet smart. I think at the end of the day, though, the bet for over is good. Whenever Tom Brady is labeled underdog in Vegas, Tom Brady statistically comes out on top.
All right, so let's talk.
And he is underdog.
Let's talk a quick injury report. The two biggest names on Tampa's final injury report were Antonio Brown and Cameron Brate. Although both players are listed as questionable for the game, they're both expected.
They're good.
Which means the Bucs are full to go. One player to watch for Tampa Bay will be safety Jordan Whitehead, who will be playing on Sunday today with a completely full torn labrum.
Oh no!
So yeah, that's
hurts.
something to definitely look out for. The last time these two teams played, Patrick Mahomes torched the Bucs defense for 462 yards. I think that's something that the Tampa defense is definitely going to have to step their game up with if they want to have a real shot at winning this.
Yeah, because that first matchup, which by saying it was early in the year for the Bucs, it was early in the year. That first half, Tyreek Hill had 200 yards passing, or 200 yards receiving, and Mahomes had 3 touchdowns and 200 yard almost 300 yard passing by the end of that half. So because that was a huge day for like fantasy players that had those players on their team because of that one half score. But the thing is you also have to look at this is great. Tampa Bay has improved their defensive play, especially here in the playoffs, because outside of like one or two throws, Tampa Bay had Aaron Rodgers pretty much like just looking for somebody.
Yep.
So they're saying that Leonard Fournette could be the key to a Bucs win. Fournette has averaged more than 100 yards per game at 104.3, and also has 3 touchdowns this year in the playoffs. Do you guys think he is going to be that X factor for the Bucs win? Do you think it's going to be Fournette and not Brady?
I think it's going to be. I think Fournette's going to go off. I think that's going to open up the field for Brady to go deep. I think if they keep trying to push the run, Tom Brady's notorious for being able to get the ball out quick. At his age, he's still one of the quickest releases in the NFL. So I think that's just something to keep in mind. But at the same point in time, when they start putting the people in the pressure on the receivers, that's when Tom Brady is notorious for holding onto the ball in the pocket for 10, 12, 15 seconds at a time and getting some great plays out of it. And that's when you're going to see Fournette, who also is a receiving back, get those short dump offs for big gains. So I think that's something to look forward to on top of his running game. I think that, once again, Tom Brady really does have all the tools to make this happen today. And I think that Tom Brady is going to be Tom Brady of old. I think we're going to see that Super Bowl performance.
Yeah, the thing is if you watch the highlights of the Chiefs Bills, and I went back and watched the All-22 and everything, the Chiefs secondary played they didn't play a lot of zone defense. They played a lot of man defense with their corners. But the thing is with the Bills is the Bills run a lot of short intermediate routes. They will take their shot deep because Allen has the arm and everything. But with Brady, as Eric just said, Brady has that penchant to hold on to the ball 10, 12, 15 seconds and wait for it. If anything, Rob can tell you this, you can't stay in man coverage for almost 20 seconds and not lose track of your guy and your guy not get open. And the thing is if Tampa Bay comes out and they can establish a run game with Fournette and Jones, that's gonna pressure Kansas City to bring up people into the box to force that defense to try to play a little bit more zone. And then that's where Brady's going to start hurting you because Brady can hit that play action fake and hang on to that ball for 10, 12 seconds, and you're going to find somebody open.
Well, here's my thing, and I'm not gonna disagree, but there's no way Tom Brady's holding on to the ball for 10, 12, 15 seconds. There's no ungodly possible way he'll hold on to the ball that long. It'll be 5 to 7 seconds at most if there's an opportunity. The biggest thing to watch for this game, and I'll say it right now, is the Tampa Bay defense is going to get sloppy. A cover 3, a cover 2. Even their dime packages will get sloppy. Tyreek Hill, Kelsey, what's the kid's name? Hardman. Hardman's going to have the game. He'll have over 100-plus yards. He'll have the 2 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, they're going to have Bunting on him. They'll have White on Kelsey. That's a matchup to watch too. I'm saying if the Bucs lose, that's what's going to happen. It's going to be the zone coverage. They're going to have to be man-to-man. They're going to have to rely on, Frank Clark getting into the backfield. I don't think the pass rush is going to get to Tom Brady as much tonight. Ndamukong Suh, JPP getting to Mahomes, forcing him out of the pocket. That's where the 50 rushing yards come in. I feel that Mahomes will be running at first. They'll start respecting it, breaking it down into a dog blitz. That's what I would do. But again, there's so many different ways to attack Patrick Mahomes that we've seen it work, and then we've seen it not work.
Now, I got to ask you, since you are the football guy,
Yeah.
what do you think Patrick Mahomes' percentage outside of the pocket's going to be? Because I know he's notorious for those dump offs, those shovel passes. He's notorious for throwing the ball off his back foot, and he has a pretty decent completion percentage for those. But when you look at the Super Bowl caliber play, every team plays different in the Super Bowl than they do in the playoffs because there's just so much less to risk. You know what I'm saying? When you're in the Super Bowl, you're like, this is the last game, so we're either going to put it all out there or we're not going to win. So do you think that we see when Patrick Mahomes gets rushed out of the pocket, do you think we see higher incompletion percentage? Do you think we see more near interceptions, more dropped passes because of the fact that the defense knows we got to cover these guys, we got to be there?
So here's my thing. 75% to 83% completion going out of the pocket. And this is why. You don't have the speed in your rush ends. Your outside linebackers, that's not the defense that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play. So Mahomes is going to have more time in the pocket than Brady will.
Yes.
If they establish the pass game, they get Edwards-Helaire going, Damian Williams going, you'll find Travis Kelce over the middle sitting in the zone, and even have a little pop shot to Tyreek Hill over the top. Because nobody on that defense is fast enough to keep up.
I was going to say, do you think they double Tyreek Hill early on to kind of throw him off the game?
It won't matter.
Especially when you have Kelce out there.
And Hardeman, Sammy Watkins, they're all speed.
Is Watkins cleared to play?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Watkins is going to play. And as Tampa Bay's defense does not have the speed ability outside of like maybe 2 or 3 players to keep up with the Kansas City offense.
Yeah. So that's the Achilles heel of the Tampa Bay defense. You're gonna have to play your soft zones, make Mahomes have to throw into your 8 to 10 yard windows or 8 to 15 yard windows. But even then, you got settle down routes with Kelce. He'll be sitting. The windows for the zone will be there, especially on the right side. If he's lined up on the right side and you have Hardeman and Watkins in slot, that's they're gonna eat up Tampa Bay's defense all night.
And then there's the one play that Kansas City has run over 100 something times this season, where you have Kelce on the near side, the 3 wide receivers on the far side, and Tyreek Hill in that inside slot. And it's the play that Kelce scored the touchdown against Cleveland, where he was lined up with Denzel Ward.
Yep,
that's their money play. That's their money play.
Basketball body on a smaller body. You put a center on a point guard, that point guard is not stopping the center.
Unless the point guard is Shaq. It happened in the All-Star game. What?
Barbecue chicken leg.
Anyway, that is my... Go ahead.
The last time the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl was in 2002, facing the Oakland Raiders. John Gruden was the coach for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He, ironically enough, now is the head coach for the Las Vegas Raiders.
I gotta tell you, man. It's weird seeing him back in the Super Bowl, man.
So one thing that could work in Tampa's advantage as well is Britt Reed, the son of Andy Reid, head coach for the Kansas City Chiefs, was in a car accident.
3 cars.
3-car accident. You are correct. On Thursday night. If I'm correct, he is not going to be available. He is if I'm correct, the outside linebackers coach. He's fine. There was a 5-year-old involved in one of the other cars and suffered life-threatening injuries. So that is a big red flag as far as Kansas City's offense goes. I'm sorry, Kansas City's defense goes, because they're going to be missing that leadership. And as far as the Chiefs' injury report goes, as I said before, Kilgore and Robinson both cleared to play. The only player that is questionable is Sammy Watkins, who is dealing with a calf injury. He hasn't played since Week 16, but is expected to return to the field. Eric Fisher is out with an Achilles injury. And Willie Gay out with a knee and ankle injury. So, one thing to bring up as well, as we've known throughout the last 3 games of the playoffs, Patrick Mahomes is playing injured. He has that turf toe injury going on. It's rumored that he's going to be having surgery after the game. Do you think Mahomes' mobility plays a factor in today's game? We saw last week, didn't exactly matter. Not last week, 2 weeks ago, didn't exactly matter. Do you think it plays a bigger factor now? Yes, he's had a week of rest, but he's still injured nonetheless.
Yeah, turf toe sucks, and it takes a long time to recover from that. Speaking from experience with baseball, it's not fun. It's not comfortable. But Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, and he knows that he's going to have to push through it to continue to lead that team. I think that whatever happens today is just going to be kind of like a speed bump in the road to recovery, but I don't think it affects him.
Yeah, he'll probably end up playing with that insert that he played with in the AFC Championship game, but based on the way he played in the AFC Championship game, I don't think his mobility is going to be limited. It's going to be interesting to see what the Tampa Bay does, because when Tampa Bay blitzed Aaron Rodgers in the NFC Championship game, Rodgers doesn't have that mobility that Mahomes does. So your Shaq Barrett, your Jason Pierre-Pauls could get there to him. Mahomes has that mobility to get out of the pocket, and then like you even saw it against the Bills in both games and multiple other teams. If Mahomes breaks containment, he's either going to dump it off or he's going to find Kelsey or Hill in that soft zone.
Yes. And Jason Pierre-Paul, you really got to give him a hand.
I hate him.
Hey, guys, real quick, I got some information about 3 possible teams and their QB situations real quick. The Raiders are now open to trading Derek Carr.
Okay.
The San Francisco 49ers are expected to bring back Josh Rosen, meaning Jimmy Garoppolo will be up for trade. And then the Seattle Seahawks.
What did I say last week? I said Watson going to the 49ers, Garoppolo's going to New England. I called it. Check the tape. It's there.
There have been inquiries to Seattle, including 2 first-round draft picks and later draft picks, plus other needs for the team for Russell Wilson. This is under heavy speculation, but
I don't think Russ leaves. He's become the cornerstone of Seattle. I don't think Russell Wilson leaves.
So that was the 3 quarterbacks that was just posted at 1 p.m. So
I think, honestly, looking at that, I think I'm sticking to my statement last week. I think that New England is heavy going after Jimmy Garoppolo at that point, because Belichick wanted Garoppolo when Brady was still in New England. Garoppolo fits the scheme, he fits the system, and he knows the system. The 49ers system is very similar to New England's system, so it wouldn't be much of a transition back to New England. And then on top of that, the ownership likes him. The ownership didn't like him enough to hold on to him because they wanted to Brady, but now that Brady's gone, it's one of those situations where we got to look at things. Do we want the future of our team, our company, our business to be in the hands of Cam Newton or a draft pick, or do we want somebody like Garoppolo, who came up under Brady, who knows the system, is familiar with all the coaches in the team? I think they make the stab at Garoppolo, which puts the Niners on the market with money to spend
and draft capital.
Hey, we got breaking news in the NBA.
Oh.
Derrick Rose has been traded to the New York Knicks for Dennis Smith and draft picks.
Derrick Rose is back in New York.
Yep. Pistons received Dennis Smith and multiple picks for Derrick Rose.
That man's career has been all over the place.
Here we go again. He's going to blow his ACL just to get out of that.
Oh my god.
He's gonna
My phone's just blowing up shit now.
The last thing I do want to talk Super Bowl real quick. It was announced.
Hold on, one last thing. Today is the fourth time the Chiefs have made the Super Bowl. They go through back-to-back wins, which would be the first time since the 2003-2004 Patriots, where back-to-back Super Bowl champions will be crowned. Go ahead, Eric. I'm sorry to cut you off.
So, the other thing, too, with Tom Brady, obviously being the home team quarterback in his home stadium, the NFL did rule out that they are not able to use the ship cannons for celebrations for home team
I saw that.
touchdowns. Any sort of home team advantage that they would have had playing in their stadium is actually being stripped away from them to technically make it a neutral ground site. So the only thing making them the home team now is officially stating you're the home team wearing the home jerseys. Once again, I still, as weird as it is, I think the history behind it, Tom Brady, once again, just being the first quarterback to play a Super Bowl in his home team stadium, it's awesome. But stripping away the cannons and all of that, I think it's kind of silly, but I also get it. I mean, it is what it is.
It's all right as long as we get Kevin Owens to jump off the pirate ship in a couple of months. I'll be happy.
Paul Burchell's coming back, baby, confirmed.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. Oh, yeah, guys. Any last thoughts on the Super Bowl? Let's get those predictions one more time.
Chiefs 34-28.
Chiefs. Wow. Bucks over Chiefs 34-27. Tom Brady MVP.
I have Bucks 34-27. I'm actually going to give the MVP to Mike Evans.
And I have Kansas City Chiefs 28-24 or 28-21 over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My MVP, honestly, is going to go to Mahomes.
I'm so excited for the Superb Owl, guys.
The Superb Owl.
All right, man. What we cooking?
I will say this. I'm hoping the commercial. I know COVID situation's been weird and everything, and it's limited a lot of things. I'm hoping the commercials this year are a little bit better than they were last year.
As long as they're not about a kid not being able to finish watching the Super Bowl because he died, I'll be okay.
Yeah, that was rough.
I remember sharing that meme. I had to share that meme on the day that I posted it because it was like I would have finished watching the Super Bowl halftime show, but I died, and I'm like, what the fuck? Why was that go dark quick?
Also, I love. I didn't make it, but I a friend of mine actually told me they made the prop bet that we get cosmetic surgery weekend tonight.
I'm wondering if there is a Vegas odds out there for a crowd-funded commercial against Robinhood, because I know that was in the news.
They said something about it.
Yep.
Is there a Vegas prop bet for that?
No.
Okay, because I honestly I would love to see that. I with how crazy the market's been, hands of diamond, Dogecoin to the moon.
Doge to the moon.
Zomedica.
Baby.
Zomedica.
Hands of diamonds. I really hope that we see a crowd-funded commercial against Robinhood. If they ran it back to back with the Robinhood commercial that's supposed to be coming out,
that would be fantastic.
Give me that drama. It's TNT, baby. I want drama. We want drama.
Oh my god. He goes, it's TNT. We want drama. Oh, speaking of the Super Bowl and festivities that usually happen, one last thing of news. So typically we always see the Walt Disney World commercial. I'm going to Disney World after the Super Bowl winner is crowned. That commercial will still be happening. However, Disney has said that they will not be hosting the Super Bowl parade at Disney World as they usually do. So COVID is definitely taking effect more this year in the usual festivities. We thought that we would all return back to normal. Obviously, there's no way, shape, or form as to where we will know we will return back to normal. But it's the little things.
Because you mentioned that. Interesting fact. I can't remember exactly when it was, or they directed it, but the NFL quarterbacks or players that say who do the line of "I'm going to Disney World" or whatever, they actually make $50,000.
Huh.
They get paid.
I'll just be yelling. I'll be yelling it
Drop
the
that
entire
line.
game. I will literally be yelling it the entire game. Every
It's a
time I
stack.
say, just pay me.
Yeah,
I'll put on my
no,
mouse.
they
I have my
had,
mouse ears on underneath the helmet. Everything.
Yeah, the one I was listening to the radio the other day, and they had somebody on, and they were talking about it. And when it started, it was Disney. When it started, Disney World made the deal of pay like whatever athlete decides to say it. They ended up getting like a $50,000 payment for it.
Too
All
bad
right.
Disney just screwed themselves. Now everybody's gonna say it.
Yep.
But all right, guys, that is
Reporter's
gonna.
gonna get on there. All right, which one of them's going to Disney World? Give me that mouse money.
All right, guys, that is going to end it for today's podcast. Thank you guys so much for showing up, showing out. We hope you enjoyed the chat. We will be back next week. Possibly, well, not even possibly. We will be recapping the Super Bowl, all the things that happen in it. Of course, the latest sports news, latest rumors that go on, the rumor mill. We'll see if we're still on Watson Watch. We'll see if we're still on Wentz Watch. Thank you guys so much for coming out. This podcast is sponsored by RAZE Energy, Player One Coffee, and Fanatics. If you guys are on Twitch right now, you see in the description, you can click any of those links, save yourself some money, help the channel out, help us grow. Guys, episode 2 in the books.
Episode 2.
So we love you guys.
Oh, hold on.
Oh, Eric put the helmet back on. Oh, I'm Tommy. You're watching the Disney Channel.
Yeah.
I'm Eric.
$50,000.
I'm going to Disney World.
So
In the video game helmet.
in the video game helmet. It's call me 50,000.
Give me that mouse money.
We love you guys. Thank you so much for checking us out. We'll catch you later. Sanagayo.
Goodbye.